Thursday night live stream where I teach you all about the emotional freedom technique. I'm Taylor, your host, your guide. And speaking of which, I wrote a guide. I wrote this. It's called the Emotional Freedom Technique. It's a comprehensive beginner's guide to feeling better now. And I come on here Thursday nights to do tapping sessions and talk about EFT, but I wrote this, and so I thought on Thursday nights I was going to start going through this guide from start to finish. So today we're going to talk about the intro of my guide where I explain what EFT is and the science behind it and the benefits of it and why I love it as my top self-healing energy technique. And I'm going to also share how I learned it and who taught me it. So yeah, the emotional freedom technique, EFT, aka tapping, you might have heard of it. I found it looking for what I thought was a normal therapist. I was all sorts of messed up. I was in a bad way and I was having like anger issues that were really rooted to just like rage and sadness at a bunch of stuff that had happened in my life. So I was just going to a therapist to like get myself under control. But when I got there, she's like this professional woman. She is a therapist, but she tells me like, we're going to tap on this and do this thing. And I had heard of it, but I was like, okay. And I did it and it really helped. And then I kept doing it and I worked with her for over a year. And out of everything that I've done like every type of healing thing that you could imagine. Reiki, craniosacral therapy, every yoga retreat, holotropic breathing, psychedelic retreats, hypnosis, which is the second most powerful and helpful, important thing that I've done. But EFT is cool because you can do it to yourself and it's totally free and self-guided. So I think part of why EFT is so effective is because you can take it with you anywhere you go, unlike other things where you have to go, hey AC, welcome to the stream. Other things you have to go and have someone else's help for. But this you can do all on your own in the actual moment that you're experiencing emotional and mental distress, which I think is a huge part of why it's so helpful. So yeah, out of all the healing things I've done, I found that EFT gave me the most results. And so I really want to teach it to people and I made a guide. So on Thursday nights, we're going to go through this guide. I'm going to teach you guys about EFT, why it's important, why it's helpful, and how you can start using it to feel better now. I felt pretty bad when I started using EFT, and it gave me a way to really help myself feel better, which is super empowering. And once you actually learn this technique, you can tailor it to any situation, thought, or feeling that might be causing you distress. And so, yeah, I think it's important to understand why EFT works and the science behind it, because it seems a little strange that just tapping on your face and other parts of your body would be able to make you feel so much better from such intense and deep things. But once you understand the science behind it and why it actually works, it makes a lot more sense. And I think that if you believe in something and understand why it works, it can be more effective rather than doing something blindly that you don't understand. So I want to explain to you. We'll go through the beginning of my guide. Yeah. So yeah, if you're feeling overwhelmed by emotional pain and you're searching for a way to find relief, EFT is a really good solution for you. It's meant to clear energy blocks that are created from unresolved feelings, thoughts, from things that have happened in the past. And so it really starts with observing and acknowledging the ways that we're feeling now and tapping on specific meridian points to clear those blockages in our energy that might be stuck there from things that have happened that are still causing us distressing thoughts, feelings, and experiences. So it's actually it blends Chinese medicine and modern psychology. So the points that you're tapping on are actually the same meridian points that are used in the Chinese acupuncture system. And these points, I don't know when they did the research, but until recently, they just were going off of ancient Chinese medicine literature, I guess. But recently they were able to, I think, with contrast dye, actually map out the acupuncture meridian system, which I think is pretty cool. And these meridian points that you're tapping on actually have connections to certain parts of your brain. And this is a part of your brain that creates the threat response. So when we are experiencing intrusive and uncomfortable states of dis-ease, right? Like any state other than total ease, peace, and happiness. So when we're in distress, a lot of the times it's because our brain is registering the situation, thought, or experience as a threat. And when our brain registers something as a threat, we have a biochemical um, response to this. And once you experience that over and over again, your brain begins to associate the state of threat and high alert with situations that aren't dangerous or harmful to you. And this can be very taxing and draining on your energy and can really cause you to be stuck feeling terrible and not really being able to find the words or the path back in talking or traditional therapy to find the reasons why you feel so bad. So EFT gives you a way to really just identify the bad feeling that you're having and get right to being able to use a somatic and physical process that can actively and specifically address the exact emotion, feeling, thought that you're having and work to actually clear the energetic charge that that has for you by, stimulating these acupressure points on the outside with your tapping technique. So that's really the basis of how EFT works. And like I said earlier, I think the most unique part of EFT that makes it so effective is that you can do it for yourself and by yourself, and you don't need anybody else's help. You can really use it on the spot immediately when you need it, and I think that's what helps it clear out negative patterns and feelings so quickly and effectively. Thanks, guys. I'm glad that you're in here in my stream with me. Make sure to subscribe because I come on here every Thursday night to talk about this stuff. And I wrote a guide and we're going to work through the whole thing on Thursday night. So thanks for being in here. And yeah, EFT really, really helped me. I was down so bad. And learning this was really empowering because it gives you a way to step out of a victim mentality and really take total responsibility and well-being, responsibility for your own well-being, which is very empowering because, when things are going wrong or people do things to you in your life, it really does suck, obviously. But we can't just rely on other people to change their behavior because we have no control over that. So better off that we're actually in control of the situation and we can change the way we think, talk, and act to, create lives with less distress and more ease and peace of mind. Peace of mind is really the goal. Yeah, so actually I have a tapping script here for feeling out of sync. I have a tapping script here that I wrote for feeling disconnected from yourself and others. Does that sound like something that you experience? Because yeah, so yeah, if you're feeling out of sync, that's something that you could tap on. You could, I'm going to walk you through in this guide how to create your own tapping script using feelings that you're experiencing in that moment. So you could start by saying, I feel so out of sync, I feel so uncomfortable to feel this way. And then you acknowledge the feeling and you move forward to continue to tap to basically focus on neutralizing that feeling and getting to a state of less resistance, more acceptance, like a non-judgmental observation of how you're feeling. You started off feeling really bad. Now you're trying to get to a neutral state with it. And then we're going to tap a couple more rounds, affirming this state in the opposite of the distressing state to affirm a new pattern back into that area of your brain that does register threat to calm that down. Because when the threat response in your brain is calmed down and your nervous system is calm, it allows you to experience a state of emotional regulation that's important to feeling calm, happy, and in control of your life. I think at the base level, when the times when you feel the worst, it's because you're basically dysregulated. And this gives you a way to physically calm and regulate your actual nervous system, which in turn allows you to be more emotionally regulated and in control of your thoughts and feelings. So how would you manage? I have a EFT in my guide. There's one for sleep too. There's a nighttime EFT tapping. I actually was thinking that we would do it at the end of the stream. So yeah, you can use it to calm yourself down. I'm going to actually in this stream get into, I have a couple of EFT facts about specific health things, and it talks about cortisol, and it might talk, yeah, it calms the brain. Yeah, it targets the limbic system and helps deactivate the brain's stress response. But there was something specific, lowering cortisol levels. Okay, guys, so get this. Yeah, I'm trying to share everything that I learned to heal myself because I had such a painful life and like such a bad experience. But I was determined to use everything bad that happened to be able to make myself feel better and then teach and share everything I learned so that other people can feel better too, because you really have everything within you to feel better and have an amazing life. And it's simple, but it's not easy. But I want to show you and I want to teach you. Okay. So, yeah, in a 2012 study published in the Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease, found that just 1 hour of EFT tapping specifically reduced cortisol levels, the body's primary stress hormone, by 24%. In comparison, the control group, which received traditional talk therapy, showed only 14% reduction. This finding suggests that EFT can directly reduce the physiological stress response in a way that talk therapy alone may not. So yeah, it does help you to get to sleep. Yeah. I think I might have lost my train of thought. But oh yes, I was trying to look for the bedtime relaxation sequence. It's in the guide. I wrote this. Okay. The bedtime relaxation sequence. The focus is to promote restful sleep by calming the mind and body. And the way that you would start this is by relaxing and thinking what thoughts or worries are keeping you from fully relaxing into sleep, and what do you need to let go of to rest peacefully. Your affirmation would be, I let go of today's worries and allow my body to relax for a peaceful night's sleep. So I was going to tap through this one at the end, but why don't we just tap through it now, since there's 5 people in the stream and sometimes there's none. If you guys want to tap along with me, you just follow me on the tapping points. I'll show them to you and you just follow them. And basically we're stimulating and applying pressure to certain meridian points that are connected to the areas of our brain that register our threat and stress response to calm down our nervous systems, and in turn have more control over our thoughts, feelings, emotional states, lives, attitudes, expectations. Yeah, okay, cool. So we'll start here. This is the karate chop point. These are kind of like little abbreviated scripts because in the guide there's 10 of them that you can use every day because, we don't have forever all the time. Even though I feel restless and my mind won't quiet down, I deeply accept myself. You guys are going to repeat after me while you tap where I'm tapping. Make sure your legs are uncrossed, feet on the ground, uncrossed legs, okay? Ideally, you'd be well hydrated. So before next Thursday when you come in here, make sure you drink a big red Solo cup of water. Okay? I have water all over my face now. Even though I feel restless and my mind won't quiet down, I deeply accept myself. Eyebrow, right in the middle. You use your hands basically so that you cover like the whole area, and this ensures you're basically getting the meridian point. My thoughts are racing as I try to sleep. My thoughts are racing as I try to sleep. I can't seem to relax fully. Side of the eye. I can't seem to relax fully. Under the eye. I feel the tension in my body. I feel the tension in my body. But I choose to release these worries now. Under the nose. But I choose to release these worries now. Chin. I let go of the thoughts keeping me awake. I let go of the thoughts keeping me awake. I allow my body, in your collarbones, I allow my body to relax fully. I allow my body to relax fully. Under your arm a few inches down from your armpit basically. I embrace peace and calm as I prepare for sleep. I embrace peace and calm as I prepare for sleep. Top of the head, this is my favorite one. I am ready for sleep. Restful sleep, free from worry. I am ready for a deep, restful sleep, free from worry. These are in my guide. Don't you feel so good after you do that? I do. And it's kind of funny because, like when you know things are good for you, but you don't do them. And then you do them and you feel so good and you're like, why did I stop doing this? Why don't I do this? So I actually wasn't using my EFT practice that much because I felt pretty good. But all the times recently where I felt really bad, how do you feel? Did you guys do it with me? Tell me how you feel. It's amazing. It really is great. And it's real, guys. There's science behind it. It's not fake. So I'm going to get a little bit more into the actual process of EFT and like what a proper EFT session contains. But that's just, yeah, it's crazy. It really makes you feel better. And I wouldn't tell you that if it wasn't true. I really have used it to get through so many hard parts of my life. And especially because, like, for example, when I was starting to live stream and I was starting to do more stuff on YouTube, I felt so uncomfortable and like so exposed and like vulnerable and embarrassed and weird. And I would tap before I came on here to do the tapping live streams because, like, how am I going to come on here and tell you guys to do tapping to feel better when I'm stressed out about something, but I'm not using tapping to deal with it? So before I did these live streams, it would force me to tap on things. Like, all of a sudden, when I really started stepping out of my comfort zone with YouTube and like everything I'm doing, like writing and doing tapping with people in real life, all of a sudden I got really preoccupied with dating and being alone for the rest of my life, which usually I don't care about at all. I'm glad you feel relaxed. That's the entire point. I usually don't care about dating or whatever, but like all of a sudden I was hit like with a gut punch of being like, oh my God, like, am I going to be alone forever? This is crazy. And I started like trying to find someone to date. And I was like, wait, what am I actually doing? what am I doing? So really, I was shifting my focus from something that was really overwhelming and scary, like all these new things that I'm doing, and putting myself back into like a familiar situation, you know, like a distraction or getting into some relationship. And I could feel it. Like it was this weird feeling that I never usually had. So I tapped. I did an EFT tapping session on the fear of being alone forever. That went down the wrong. That went down the wrong pipe. Good thing I'm not mic'd. My microphone broke. So for now, I'm raw dogging the stream. So yeah, then I started being afraid that I was gonna be alone forever. And I was like, wait, no, this is just because I'm holding myself back here. Like I'm doing things that are becoming so successful. And this is like a perfect way to keep myself stuck in some old way that I used to be doing some dumb shit on autopilot. So I did a tapping because, you know, when you're outside of your comfort zone doing all these new things, like I'm doing a lot of new things in my life, like learning how to ride a motorcycle, that was so scary. And when you just come home and you're alone, like every day and night, I like being alone. I feel like it's like bad karma to say that, and then I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life if I admit that I like being alone. But like I honestly do. I really think I do. But it's like when you go to learn something new and scary all day, like taking a motorcycle course to learn to ride a motorcycle, and you come home and there's no one else there, and you're just like, your like nervous system is so overstimulated. And be so nice if there was someone there to be like comforting and supportive and like rub your back or something. That would actually be cool. But other than that, I do. I do enjoy being alone. But yeah, I find that because I'm alone and I don't have anybody to be my comfort zone. Like when I'm out of my comfort zone, I'm really out there. There's no one but my kids to like make me feel grounded, and there's no constant in my life basically. So I'm always doing all this crazy new stuff, and I'm just like out there in the world on my own. So um limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging patterns will start to really come up and get in my way to block me from doing good things in my life and keep me like in some old things, you know? So I had to work really hard. So I went through this terrible breakup. It was so traumatic, but I actually started going to this therapist before I even met him, which is crazy because he messed me up so bad, but I was already so messed up when I went to her before I even knew him. Damn, that's crazy. I really was. So I went to her for normal therapy and she wound up teaching me EFT tapping. And then she did actually encourage me into what turned out to be the worst situation of my entire life. But in hindsight, it was all by design and I needed to do it to get to where I am now. So it was worth it. And I would do it all over again. But basically, my life got so bad that I had to be like, okay, wait. I am officially the common denominator. Hi, Sunny. I'm officially the common denominator in all of this dysfunction that I have experienced and I'm continuing to experience. But that was cool because, like I said, you can't change other people, but you can change yourself. So that actually, like, accepting accountability for my situation that I had gotten myself into and all the bad parts of my life actually gave me the power to change it because without taking accountability, you really can't have any like empowered agency to change things in your life to make them better. So I just decided to be like, you know what part did I play in all of this stuff? And I got very like honest with myself. And so basically this is where like shadow work and all that stuff. I have a video about that on my channel, like a long form video about hating yourself. But that's where like all that came into play. But yeah, my life got so bad that I had no choice but to get real because I could not spend another day or let myself get into another situation like I had because I got into the same situation like 3 times in a row. So it officially wasn't them. It officially was me. And so I went to, so I had already learned EFT tapping. So obviously I used EFT tapping through my whole recovery process, and it helped me really unfuck myself quite quickly and easily and painlessly compared to talk therapy, where you have to, me, that's just a no brainer. And I think that that explains, why so well. So EFT was a big part of my healing journey from things that happened in the past, my healing journey for the most recent things. Like I used it extensively and actively when I was going through, some of the worst times of my life. And then during better times, I don't use it for energy maintenance the way that I should, but I do more when I do these live streams because I come on here and I have to prep it and I have to do it. So, and I really do notice a difference. I've actually been doing a lot of energy work that's made a difference, but I want to keep this video just about EFT. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more things. I'm doing the gateway process. It's like a CIA meditation process for astral projection travel and stuff. But I'm telling you, I swear it's making a difference in my life. It's actually crazy. My life has gotten like very magnetic. I like think about things and they happen a lot. So I think I just want to get into with you what actually first I want to get into the benefits, the actual benefits, the science behind it. And then I want to walk you through what like a full and proper EFT session looks like. And then next week we will, let's see, what do we work on next week more? Maybe I'll walk through all the 10 scripts in here. Yeah. Then next week we will do the daily tapping sequences. I'll teach you those. You're welcome. Thanks for being in my live stream with me. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. If you like it and share it and subscribe to the channel, it helps people find my videos. And I will make the stream live and timestamp any EFT tapping that we've done. I think I forgot to timestamp my last EFT live stream video, but I'll go back and make sure I timestamp it that way. If you ever want to come back and watch this for a specific area of the tapping or just get to the tapping, then I'm going to timestamp it for you so you can just click it. But yeah, I just want to talk more about EFT tapping and the science behind it because I think it's super cool because I didn't really understand the science behind it when I was doing it. I was just taught it by somebody that I trusted and looked up to, who seemed really smart. She had like I think she might have had a PhD, but she definitely worked with like NASA physicists and wrote this book on energy healing and stuff. So she had a lot of authority and she was like a mother. Like I just like looked up to her. I probably projected some mother issues onto her actually. Hey Gerard, thanks for watching from Ireland. That's awesome. What is it there? It's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2. So I didn't really ask any questions. She explained it to me and I just went with it because I was so desperate to feel better. And it made me feel better literally immediately, but more so with consistent practice. I really stuck with it. And it's easy to be consistent with EFT tapping because you can do it yourself and it is free. So trust me, it is an easy and it's no risk. What if you try it and it doesn't make you feel better? What are you out? A few minutes of your life? You know what I'm saying? So guys, EFT tapping is a way to feel better as soon as possible when you feel really, really bad. And I'm going to share all the other things I did too that also helped me feel better. Like I was down worse than anybody that you have ever heard of being down. Not worse than anyone ever, but like as bad as it gets, like that's where I was. And these are all the things I did. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I am going to figure out how to feel better. And then when I do, I'm going to share it with everybody so that they can do the same exact stuff. Because really, the stuff that wound up working to make me feel better, luckily, I didn't do any like scammy, weird stuff. Like, yeah, I saw a few psychics. I'm not going to lie. Like, did I spend a couple $100s on a couple different psychics throughout my lifetime? Absolutely. But were they right? Yeah. Yeah, they were right. With my second husband, she told me there's no baby. There's no marriage. What? We just got married. What do you mean? She was right. There was no marriage. There was no baby. We were like married and divorced within 2 months. So anyway, and then like another, yeah, every psychic was right. Anyway, yeah, I digress. So luckily I didn't do anything too scammy or weird on my healing journey. I did a lot of really legit stuff that actually really helped, but it required my trust It required my consistency. But like March last year, I guess, is when I finally realized like the final real like blocks around why I was struggling so much and came to terms with them. And I would say overall, more than anything that I learned or did, was just actually accepting how bad I felt. I think when we feel bad, it's so uncomfortable and we try so hard with so much effort to feel better. And sometimes I don't even sometimes, that's really never the best thing to do. I really learned that feeling your emotions and processing them and not dissociating or stuffing them down or trying to force yourself to feel better is actually the best way to repattern and rewire the way you think and the way you feel. And I learned that through EFT tapping specifically. But even with EFT tapping and everything I learned, I still felt all fucked up. And the reason was because I was trying to make myself feel better and never just allowing myself to accept the reality from like a non-judgmental observing place that I felt like complete shit. That I was like so miserable. I'm glad you like listening. Thank you for being in my stream. I felt so miserable and I have like kids, so I felt like on top of feeling miserable, I felt guilty for feeling miserable because I have a perfect life, like I have nothing to complain about. And so, yeah, like I was just in a really bad space and constantly trying to feel better. It was kind of getting me places, but slowly and not like where I actually felt like I needed to be. So finally, I just sat down and was like, all right. I turned on the camera and I was like, I hate myself. I hate my life. None of this is what I wanted or thought I was going to have. I think it's very stupid and I want to change my whole life and I'm going to do it. And so it's like I didn't need to know how to change my life. I didn't need to be actively working hard to change my life. I just before you could do any of that, it's like how are you going to build a new house on top of like a broken down old house? You really need to like demolish the house down to the foundation. And so that's what I basically did. And I admitted all these things. I was like basically running from my whole life and like trying to like be in these relationships with these men, not really out of love or interest in this sort of commitment or relationship, but more so out of like this desire and need to be chosen by somebody from like a place of like not being chosen and not feeling chosen and like that's not why you should be in a relationship at all. And so it's like, what am I actually doing? Mm. So I say all that basically to say that the worst parts of my life actually turned out to be the best parts of my life because they got me to a point where I had no other choice but to accept how shitty I felt and to go from there. Like at rock bottom, you have, hey, Angel, at rock bottom, you have nothing left to lose. And in like the manifestation law of attraction, positive psychology community, I feel like it's like sacrilegious to ever say things that you don't want to come true because they say like words are spells. And I get that that's true. What you say, thoughts are things and words make things happen. So you're really taught not to like verbalize or assert things that you don't want to be true. And I really try not to focus or put any energy onto things I don't want to increase in my life. But EFT really helps get to the root of where that issue is triggering your threat response and your nervous system to really help relieve the intensity of these intrusive thoughts and feelings because you are saying the exact feelings that you actually feel. Therefore, you know, when you say things, you do activate that biochemical and physical experience, you know, in your body. I used to do, or I can like do an experiment. I used to make people on the live stream think about eating a lemon, right? Cut a lemon, imagine in your mind, right? Thanks, Angel. You cut a big juicy lemon and you take a big, like, bite out of it, right? You bite into this lemon and it's like so juicy and it's so sour and you can feel it on your tongue. So like most people will start salivating when they think in depth about eating this lemon. I'm salivating right now from thinking about it. So when you think about stressful, distressing, painful experiences and thoughts and feelings while you're running through your tapping script, it really helps connect and activate that sense and experience within your body, and you can work on reinforming your nervous system with a more calm interpretation of anything that you might be experiencing. So basically rewiring your body's conditioned threat response to instead be more calm. And over time, you can make it more and more and more calm to the point where you are way less reactive to things that happen in your daily life. And when you're less reactive, you're more emotionally regulated. And when you're more emotionally regulated, you can have more peace of mind. And when you're not, your energy isn't blocked and it's freely flowing, your world actually gets bigger. You have more space, time, energy to be creative and explore the world and live your life in the way that we were meant to, because that's the reason that we're alive. So when you stop allowing your energy to be siphoned, drained, like when your phone's not on airplane mode on the airplane and it drains the battery faster because the phone keeps looking for a signal, looking for a signal. When you're not energetically doing that with these stored, blocked, stagnant energies in your body from the past, you are free to really experience energetically a different life, which then turns into a different emotional, mental, physical life. I've seen it happen with my own eyes. And it was really hard because I always wanted to come on YouTube and teach all this stuff and talk about it. And I was like, I know what to do. I've done everything. Like, why can't I come on and explain it? Why can't I come on here and teach it? And now I realize, like, after what I went through in March, I just like wasn't there because I hadn't broken through the real final last thing, which was really accepting and admitting how I felt and where I was starting from, and then releasing that desperate need to have things be better than that. And that's really where everything changed. So I think when you're thinking about using EFT to feel better, an important first step is to really start observing how you feel and observing the way that you're thinking, and think of ways to neutralize those thoughts, and just accept that that's how you feel right now. So be open to, okay, so you want to accept that that's how you feel right now, and then be open to the possibility that these thoughts could, these feelings and thoughts could be more neutral. That's where you're going to start. You don't have to be actively trying to make things feel better. You just have to be open to them feeling less bad, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I've done a lot of different healing stuff that I'm going to share in different videos and live streams, but out of all of them, just admitting how I felt and getting real with it and starting from there was actually the most helpful thing that changed the entire game for me. And also I saw that, like, I guess that's basically the basis of shadow work, right? It's basically shadow work, confronting your worst fears about yourself and just loving yourself and being willing to see yourself with enough compassion that you feel there's a space to grow in there. You're not holding yourself to some standard of perfection anymore. You're just allowing yourself to be fucked up in all the ways that you are, and telling yourself that you and yourself alone are ultimately responsible for holding the space for yourself to feel better, and doing whatever techniques you become aware of to help you achieve that. I wanted to go over, so I think we've pretty much touched on all these points in my guide. I wrote a guide. Um, 10 benefits of EFT tapping in my guide, but we pretty much talked. Yeah, people use it. I haven't really used it for physical pain reduction, but people do use it for physical pain reduction, like headaches and muscle tension. I've never used it for myself personally, but I've used it with people who have used it for that. Trauma and PTSD. That was basically the main thing that EFT helped me. There is a cool statistic in my guide. Let me open so I get it correct. About PTSD, and I would need to research more about this, but it was a very interesting statistic about PTSD. It must be on the area about comparing it to the other. I just wrote this, so I'm not quite familiar with it yet, but I'm definitely going to start teaching it. Okay. Not on here. It was like a very significantly. Okay, here we go. Treating trauma. The Journal of Traumatic Stress Disorders and Treatment examined EFT's effect on veterans with PTSD. After just 6 sessions of EFT, 90% of participants no longer met the clinical criteria for PTSD. This is a remarkable outcome considering the severity and chronic nature of trauma-related symptoms. Like, I'm sorry, what? That's like very significant. Yeah, there's all these studies. Guys. Yeah, so I should have just looked at the guide to explain these things because I get so tongue-tied when I explain them and I have to be like, this is like this, because I'm like looking for the words because I get nervous because I'm like new to live streaming and sometimes people actually just come on here to harass me, and like once they made me cry, and it's a long story, but I'm feeling much better now. um But yeah, when we experience emotional pain, stress, or trauma, the amygdala, a small almond-shaped part of the brain responsible for the fight, flight, or freeze response, becomes overactive. This triggers a cascade of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which can keep you stuck in a state of emotional overwhelm. Over time, this chronic activation of the amygdala can contribute to anxiety, depression, and other forms of emotional suffering. So yeah, EFT is just super great for caring for your nervous system, caring for your emotional health by caring for your nervous system, doing both at the same time, right? I don't know. I think those are some pretty compelling statistics, right? And I think it's awesome. And I love to come on here and share it with people. Even though like only 1 or 2 people at a time actually come in and get it, that's still pretty cool. Like even if one person decided to do EFT tapping because of me, I'll take that. That's cool. Increases confidence and self-acceptance. Yeah, it helps release limiting beliefs and emotional blockages. It fosters greater self-acceptance and a boost in self-confidence. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, guys. Self-acceptance and just being kind to yourself and how you feel. And just, you gotta sometimes have blind trust that and hope that you'll feel better. Even if you don't actually think that. That's what I did. I just was like, you know what? I can't feel any worse. And I'm just gonna do these things that are supposed to make me feel better, and one day I will. And it actually happened. I honestly was dealing with all this like shame and self-hatred that I was mentioning before, that I actually thought that I was like different than everybody else, and like a good life was meant for other people and not for me. So I'm telling you, I had some real doubt as to whether or not any of this would work. The Reiki, the tapping, the therapy, the acupuncture, the psychedelics, the yoga, the different therapies on my back and my bones, and like breathing with strangers and like looking into their eyes and writing stuff and burning stuff and getting hypnotized and being in the desert, and like, yo, I've done everything and I still felt terrible. But then just like that, I cracked it, and it was because I was willing to admit that I felt like shit. So that was pretty cool. So there's like a Buddhist like, I don't know, analogy. So there's like, right, the Buddhist is like holding up his like prayer beads or whatever. And so when he pulls his beads towards him and lets go, what happens to the beads? They automatically swing away. So when you hold the beads away from you and let go of them, they automatically swing as close as possible to you. So the moral of the story is that basically what you resist persists. So the things that you're resisting to acknowledge, feel, and deal with, they're gonna keep persisting as recurring cycles of dysfunction and trauma and dis-ease in your experience of life. And I experience this so firsthand, and it's so frustrating because you basically have to admit that you have some part in all of it. And that can be like a really hard bridge to cross because you're like, no, everybody is bad and I'm good. And you are good, and everybody is bad, especially your ex. You know who you are. But it doesn't matter who's good, who's bad, nothing. It's just what is now. And you don't feel well and you want to feel better. And the good news is that you can make yourself feel better now. And this guy that I'm going to walk you through week by week on Thursdays is going to help you feel better using EFT. If you're open to learning a new technique that you can do all on your own, that's free. Come in on Thursdays and we'll go through more of this. I hope that you guys feel like you learned something about EFT. There's a real huge power in taking accountability for your circumstances, taking ownership for your circumstances. It's very empowering to decide that you are going to do something to make yourself feel better and make your life feel better, and to end the cycles that you keep repeating, because at a certain point you realize that the only thing that's consistent in your problems is you. And the good news is that there's a way to reinform your brain, repattern the way you feel and think and react to things, and really calm down your nervous system and your brain and the intensity of emotional dysregulation to get to a point of total peace, happiness, ease, creativity. And that's really where I'm at. And I really didn't think I could get there. And I did. So now I can come and teach it to you without feeling like I'm full of shit, for real. And now I'm actually really excited because I didn't think it would all work. And it did. Yeah, the day when I realized that I low-key hated myself and that it was actually like the one thing that was holding me back in every part of my life, I woke up the next day and the day after that, and it felt like some magic had happened and I was afraid it was going to wear off. And then I would go back to that old way because it was almost like I was like cloudy, like almost like I was in a dream state, hating myself so much. Once it all clicked, how silly and not real. And like that was like an illusion. All the shameful, self-hating things I was feeling and experiencing, that was just like a lens and a perspective and a mindset. And I was able to like shift it and move that energy. And it permanently shifted. It went away. It disappeared. It, like get little or like get big again. Like it's gone. Like I completely cleared it. And so every day I would wake up and feel like I was scared I was gonna like start feeling the same way. And I never ever did. And then I embarked on like this 3-week total life reset thing on YouTube where I'm like, all right, I stopped hating myself. That was my block. Now I can be perfect and get better and finally fix myself. But actually the needing to fix yourself thing was still like leftover parts of the self-hate stuff. But I never went back to that like really dark, doubting myself and just like pathetic version of my life. And then I tried to do this 3-week total life reset thing and I failed because I didn't hate myself anymore. So I didn't feel this same energy and like motivation to be better and be perfect. Like I didn't really feel like I had to fix myself anymore. Like sure, I'd like to be better. Would I like to lose the 20 pounds I gained? Absolutely. But I no longer felt like I had to fix myself. So like the flame was gone from under my ass because I was just like, whatever. Like actually I'm kind of good. I'd rather just like eat anything I want for a change. And that was the first time in my life I ever did that. So I wound up gaining 20 pounds. So actually it doesn't seem like clearing the blocks work the way it's supposed to, where like you lose all the weight, you drop all your emotional baggage, you drop all the physical weight. Didn't work like that, but actually now I'm losing the weight. And the cool thing is that for the first time in my life, I saw that I could fail at something I tried. I could give myself a break for once in my life and still love myself and not hate myself and not be disgusted with myself and embarrassed and like talking to myself in the most mean way. Like the way that we talk to ourselves is so nasty. We would never ever talk to anybody else or say stuff like this to anybody else. But the way that we talk to ourselves can be so brutal. And the way I was talking to myself it was normal to me. So I didn't realize. It's like a fish who doesn't realize the water. I didn't know. But now that everything has shifted for me, I would never think, talk, see myself that way. And it's like so refreshing. I don't feel guilty all the time and heavy and just frazzled and confused. I just can enjoy good things and not like find some like weird negative take on them to force myself back into like some more comfortable state of anxiety. And it really is like emotional freedom and I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your compliments. I appreciate it. Um but yeah, so I was always afraid it would wear off, but it never did. And then I wound up trying to keep fixing myself, but I still, like, I tapped and I cleared a lot of that energy and I just stayed the course and had the faith and had the trust blindly because I don't know if I can do any of this, but I really know that I won't give up. And so then I know that I can do it and I will do it. Um, and I realized, yeah, I love myself even when I'm not being perfect. And even when I'm doing like things that aren't great or when I'm not making YouTube videos or not writing, like it's all good. I was finally able just to trust, like, I'll be okay and I can like make decisions for myself and trust my intuition. And when I'm ready to write something, I'll write something. And I did. I wrote this guide. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't like tying my self-worth to how thin I was, my productivity, how much money I was making, my relationship. I was just like letting myself be in life. And it was very, very, very healing. So overall, I hope I got the point across throughout this video that really just accepting where you're at and loving yourself no matter what and loving yourself anyway is a huge part of the EFT technique. So I want to do one that shows you a real EFT session. So we're going to close on that. We're going to take a big deep breath and we're going to do a tapping script. These are some specific ones for a client, but I think there's one in here that will be good for tonight's. Thanks for being with me in the stream. I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can be here next Thursday and all the other times. I'm going to really get the YouTube channel popping off. It's like my whole big plan. Baby steps. I have 2 teenagers and I'm just like starting where I can and doing my best here to try to like think of like if there was one thing I could teach people that's easy and super transformational and effective to feel better, what would I teach people? And this is like the most straightforward thing. Like it's not esoteric. You don't have to understand anything. You just have to like do this and like say why you feel bad. That's it. That's literally it. So yeah, thank you. Let's see. Did you say that you felt disconnected or something? Was that you in the beginning of the stream that I referenced the feeling disconnected to yourself and others script? Let me know. It was you. You want to do it? You want to do it together? It'll be like a private tapping session because we're the only people in the stream. Let's do it together. So, woo! I'll walk you through. It's nice not being mic'd. I can like be a little bit loud and not feel like I'm like killing everybody's ears. Okay. So, we're going to do an EFT tapping to relieve feelings of disconnection from yourself and others. So, part of the EFT tapping technique is to rate the unit of distress that you are experiencing on a scale of 0 to 10. They're called subjective units of distress or SUDs, SUDs. So before you start tapping, you want to think about what you said in the beginning of the video where you were feeling disconnected or let me know. And then, yeah, we're going to do it together. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. If you weren't, I'd just be talking to, I probably wouldn't even still be here actually if you weren't here. So, yeah, so you want to think about, okay, I think actually I have a specific prompt for acknowledging your feeling. So you want to acknowledge your feeling and rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. We are going to run through our tapping technique and you can run through this as many times as you feel necessary where your relief is noticeably significant when you check back in with yourself afterwards and rate your units of distress. And the idea is to continue until the feeling, emotion, thought feels sufficiently neutralized to at least decrease distress in a meaningful way to your piece. Before starting, take a moment to tune into how disconnection feels for you. And I can relate to this. I used to like disassociate like crazy, and I do feel a little isolated from the world sometimes because I'm on some other shit. Where in your body do you feel it? What emotions come up when you think about feeling disconnected? Rate the intensity of this feeling on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the most intense. When I think about feeling disconnected, I guess I feel it like maybe in my chest, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just about like getting into your body and feeling your energy. And sometimes when I feel disconnected, I feel disconnected in my head because I feel like my brain is just like, and I can't really verbalize what I'm perceiving, right? But right now I'm feeling like actually very connected in my real life, you know, if I'm being honest. No, but this is gonna help you if you're having feelings of disconnection, and I've had them before, and I get it. And I developed this for a client, so you're not alone. And actually, part of my guide in the intro, it tells you how you're not alone, and everybody feels this way, and that's why this is a super effective technique, because it works on a real human biological level. All right, we're going to start at the karate chop point. Make sure your legs are uncrossed because we're working with our energy meridians, which are running linear through the body. So we just want everything flowing so we can get these points, clear up any blocks we might have to feeling our best. This is a karate chop point. Take a deep breath in through your nose, into your belly. Hold it and breathe out through your mouth. We're rewiring our brains and bodies to feel more calm and regulated. We're going to take another big deep breath in through our nose, into our belly. We're going to hold it, and then we're going to blow out any tension or frustration we might be feeling right now. Now we're going to take one more big clearing breath to breathe in nice, clear, fresh energy and blow out any stagnant or old energy that we're holding inside of us. Sometimes when I do that, I imagine that it has a color, like brown or gray. Yeah, legs are uncrossed, feet on the ground. Let's do this. Even though I feel disconnected from others and myself, I deeply and completely accept how I feel. Even though I feel disconnected from others and from myself, I deeply and completely accept how I feel. It's very effective if you do it by yourself in front of a mirror. I used to do that all the time. Even though I am struggling with this feeling of disconnection, I honor where I am and am open to reconnecting. Even though I'm struggling with this feeling of disconnection, I honor where I am and I'm open to reconnecting. Even though I feel lost and detached right now, I choose to love and accept myself as I work through this. Even though I'm feeling lost and detached right now, I choose to love and accept myself as I work through this. I'm going to go into the eyebrow point. This disconnection feels so heavy and isolating. This disconnection feels so heavy and isolating. I feel cut off from the people around me and even from myself. I feel cut off from the people around me and even from myself. Under the eye. It's hard to feel connected when I feel this way. It's hard to feel connected when I feel this way. Under the nose. I don't know how to break through this disconnection. I don't know how to break through this disconnection. Chin point. This disconnection makes me feel alone, and it's painful. This disconnection makes me feel alone, and it's painful. I acknowledge this feeling of disconnection is present in my life. Collarbone point. I acknowledge that this feeling of disconnection is present in my life. Under the arm. But I'm open to the idea of reconnecting with myself. About 2 inches under your armpit. But I'm open to the idea of reconnecting with myself. And I'm open to the idea of reconnecting with others. Back to the karate chop point. Even though I still feel disconnected, I'm ready to release this feeling now. So this is where we're getting to neutralizing it. We're not necessarily feeling better. We're just trying to get to a point where we're open to feeling better. Even though I still feel disconnected, I'm ready to release this feeling now. I allow myself to let go of this isolation and invite connection into my life. I allow myself to let go of this isolation and invite connection into my life. I am open to reconnecting with myself and others. I am open to reconnecting with myself and others. Eyebrow point. I've been carrying this disconnection, but I'm ready to release it now. Side of the eye. I release the feelings of isolation and detachment. I release the feelings of isolation and detachment. Under the eye, I'm letting go of the emotional block that makes me feel detached. I'm letting go of the emotional block that makes me feel detached. I don't need to hold on to this feeling anymore. I don't need to hold on to this feeling anymore. I'm ready to feel connected again, starting with myself. Chin point. I'm ready to feel connected again, starting with myself. Collarbone point next. I choose to let go of this disconnection and embrace connection instead. I choose to let go of this disconnection and embrace connection instead. I release the barriers between me and the people around me. I release the barriers between me and the people around me. I trust that I can feel connected again to myself and others. I trust that I can feel connected again to myself and others. Even though I feel disconnected, I now choose to embrace a feeling of connection. Even though I feel disconnected, I now choose to embrace a feeling of connection. I open my heart to reconnect with the people in my life and with myself. I open my heart to reconnect with the people in my life and with myself. I am worthy of feeling connected, grounded, and whole. I am worthy of feeling connected, grounded, and whole. I'm ready to connect with myself, my emotions, and my heart. I'm ready to connect with myself, my emotions, and my heart. I am open to reconnecting with others around me. I am open to reconnecting with others around me. I trust that I can rebuild my connections with those I care about. I trust that I can rebuild my connections with those I care about. Onto your nose. I am open to feeling connected, grounded, and supported. I am open to feeling connected, grounded, and supported. I allow love and connection to flow back into my life. Now, I allow love and connection to flow back into my life now. I reconnect with myself, my inner wisdom, and my heart. I reconnect with myself, my inner wisdom, and my heart. It feels so good. I am open to meaningful connection with others and myself. I am open to meaningful connections with others and myself. I feel grounded, connected, and present with myself and the people around me. I feel grounded, connected, and present with myself and the people around me. Now take a big, deep breath. And notice in your body how your energy feels. I usually feel very relaxed. Thank you for connecting with me, quiet man. I am a loud girl. That was great. I feel really good. I feel really good. And for your own specific purposes, you know, just thinking about specific feelings and specific situations, you know, related to these feelings helps really activate those parts of your brain that are needing calming, I'll say, to put it not that well. So let's take another deep breath, and then we're going to check in with how we feel. How do you guys feel compared to before? If your negative feelings haven't fully lifted, you can repeat the sequence and focus on more specific emotions or thoughts that arise through this process. So as you tap through, you might have different thoughts or feelings that come up, and you can address those in other rounds. Next week, we're going to go through some of my daily scripts, and I'll also show you how to make your own EFT tapping script. I made a really cool thing in my guide where you fill in the blank basically to create your own tapping script. And I even made a chart with different feelings and energies and their opposites, so that even if you can't put words to the opposite, you can, you know how you're feeling, and then use the chart to make your own tapping script to reverse the charge of the unwanted feeling or thought. Good. I'm glad you guys feel good. Thank you so much for being here with me. I feel love too, because like I said, sometimes people just come in here to take me down. Good, AC. Everything is just an illusion. All these fears. It's ourselves holding us back. It's natural, because doing new things and experiencing peace are, humans are wired to notice threats before they notice good things. So, you know, in a world where biologically we're still wired to feel threatened and living in such an unnatural state of like society and everything, we really have to teach and practice how to keep our energy and brains and operating systems clean, because we're living in an unnatural world, and society and the way we live has far outpaced our physical ability to keep up with that. So we really have to go within ourselves and not really take any of our attention on things that we can't control or that are too far out of us. But first thing, to take a look at our own lives and the way things are going within those, the ways that that differs from the way that we would ideally be experiencing life, and focus on shifting the energy related to the things that are standing between those two things. EFT helps a lot. And then I wrote this book. About gaining peace of mind in a world full of chaos. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I go through like 6 or 7 self administered energy healing techniques that I've used to maintain my energy. And I would really highly recommend them, and they're all free, and you can do them all for yourself. And I think that's what's so cool, because I feel like whenever someone tells me about something with healing, it's like you got to try to find out like how they're making money off of it, right? So that's the thing with EFT tapping. It's like you can make a lot of money off of it if people really need help, or whatever, like you write books and this and that. But as far as a technique, I'm teaching you something free that you can always use. You never have to pay another cent to use it. Like transcendental meditation, they'll sell it to you like it's the best thing, it's going to totally fix your life, and then you find out you have to pay like $3,000 for them to give you your mantra. And it has to be specific to you or it doesn't work. And you're just like, yeah, my friend did it. She said that she could give me a mantra and I could use hers. Shove it. But yeah, guys, I just think it's super cool. So this book that I wrote is full of for all these free energy maintenance and healing techniques that I've learned and used, and I can vouch for them because I actually did them, and it was frustrating to not be able to teach them after I learned them, but they hadn't worked yet. But now they worked, and now I'm coming from a spot where I like actually don't feel like a fraud telling you these things because now I actually get it. And if you don't get it yet, I'm sorry, because I remember what it felt like looking on the outside in of people who felt so much better than me and never thinking that I would get there, but I did. Because I held blind faith and I was desperate to not have a shitty life, and it worked. So subscribe to my channel and follow me to see what I'm doing to see what I did and what I'm doing to just, you know, make life better and better every day. I'm so grateful for you guys for being here with me. Thank you. I like hanging out with you too. I really appreciate it. I used to live stream a lot more. But yeah, I'm getting back into it. Baby steps. I show up on Thursday nights no matter what because I force myself to, and also because I wrote this article for a local magazine and my live stream's in there. And I feel like if someone comes from the magazine and there's no live stream, they're gonna be like, this girl sucks. But I always wind up meeting really cool, amazing people, and it really excites me when I'm able to help somebody learn EFT tapping or feel better. And so mission accomplished tonight. And you know, if you guys make sure to like the video, share the video, watch the video, come back to the live videos and click on the timestamp so you can do our tapping again together, then you can really help my channel and help other people find relief from their emotional pain. Because it sucks so bad. All right, cool. Well, hey, have a great night over there, and I will catch you in the next stream, I hope. And if not, I'll make it so that you can watch it whenever. I'll make it public. All right, thanks, guys. Wishing you peace of mind. Good night. Next week we'll dive into the guide. I wrote a guide. Sorry, I'm still pumped up about that. Bye, guys.